breaking down the true lifetime cost of each roofing system is one of our favorite things to do with our clients when they come in and they're trying to make a decision what is the right roofing system for their home, whether they are replacing a roof or doing a new build and trying to make that decision. And so this sheet we have actually built based on Middle Tennessee data to where we can actually plug these in and show in real time everything that goes into it and all the data so that they can make an educated decision on what's the right roofing system. So a few things, we're gonna go through this sheet. I'm gonna kind of break down what we're doing, get an idea, and then we'll probably make a series on this where I'll take some real life examples of customers that come in. We'll break down their roof on video so you can see that, and this is what we present to them along with other information so they can make the right decision. So first thing is we're able to plug in the exact square footage of the roof, and this will be in square feet, and this will convert over to squares. So in squares in roofing is just 100 square feet equals 1 square. Take an example of 35 squares, which is 3,500 square feet. I'll plug in, you'll see all these numbers will jump on here. This is equating everything, and then we are assuming a 2.5% yearly inflation. While that's important, in 15, 18 years when you replace an asphalt shingle, that same shingle is not gonna cost the same in 18 years. We got to account for the inflation, and so this will do that. First thing we look at is the initial investment, which is what everybody gets on the front end when they're getting quotes. And if that's the only data you have, then a lot of times you're making a decision based on that. And so we can see here, asphalt shingles, class 3, this is your standard. This would be OC duration, certainty landmark, GAF timberline shingles. These are all class 3 shingles. And then we got class 4, which would be like a Malarkey Vista SBS modified shingles. These are just gonna have a higher impact rating for hail and generally will last a little bit longer. And then we have designer asphalt shingles. This is a wide range of shingles in this market here, but we're taking kind of the averages. We got exposed fastener metal. This is the metal pans, probably most commonly see that have the fasteners, as in the name, exposed, so they are fastened on top of the pans. These are called R panel, max panel, a lot of different names for them. Standing seam metal roof. This is one of our favorite lifetime roofing systems. The difference between that and an exposed fastener is exactly that. There are no exposed fasteners in a standing seam metal roof. In a metal roof, the fasteners are generally the weak point of that metal roof. When the fasteners give out, that metal roof is no longer working. And so then our other favorite and top option is our synthetic tile, specifically through Brava roof tile. These are made to emulate natural products like cedar shake, slate, or Spanish barrel tile. And so we look at the initial investment, we see the sticker shock. An asphalt baseline shingle at $18,000 is roughly gonna be 3 times the cost to go over here to the Brava and standing seam area, right? And so that is a big difference. And if that's the only data we have to go off of, it is really hard to justify paying this price range. This is where the factors of how long are we gonna be in the home? Because if you're in the home for 5, 7, 8, 9 years, asphalt shingles are gonna be your most cost-effective way to go because you're not gonna get the return on investment from these. Unless there's an aesthetic appeal we're going for, this is where asphalt shingles shine. This is where they're gonna perform the best. They're gonna be the most efficient and cost-effective way to go. The next thing we gotta look at is the lifespan and replacement cycles in that 50 years. So this is where we start to see the separation happen. So asphalt shingles are gonna last on average 18 years. And so then we're looking at designer asphalt shingles, specifically the thicker ones will last a little bit longer, around 26 years. Exposed fastener metal is gonna be around that 30 to 35 year mark. And then your standing seam and Brava is going to be 50 plus years. They are a true lifetime roofing system. It is a set it and forget it type of system. So we're not gonna have to replace it. And this is where the inflation comes into play, right? So the first replacement was the first install was 18,000. In 18 years, we're looking at, after inflation, about 28,000 for that same roofing system. And then that second replacement in the 50 years is gonna be around 44. Same thing across the board here. And then you can see designer shingle only one time, as well as exposed fastener one time. We're gonna get into the maintenance and repair cost. This is the things we need to do when the roofing system is up there. We're gonna have repairs, maintenance. These are things like replacing flashing, replacing pipe boots, clearing debris off the roof. replacing any shingles that need to be replaced, like ridge cap, things like that. And so each system's gonna have its own variables that go into this, and we'll break it down real quick. And so asphalt shingles, kind of just explained it to you, what goes into it. And over that period, you're looking at around $13,000 to $14,000 in total maintenance and repair cost that go into that. And then you're looking at designer asphalt shingle. It's gonna be in the same range. And then the exposed fastener metal. This is the system that we have to be really careful about and always warn consumers about. If these screws, if you don't stay on top of the screws and they give out, the washers, they dry rot, they leak, they start to rot around that, it becomes a very, very costly and almost sometimes impossible repair to properly repair that roof when it comes to that if you don't stay on top of it. So you have to be very proactive with these roofing systems, because you're going to need to replace the screws so you catch leaks before they leak too long and create bigger issues. Then we look at standing seam and synthetic tiles, where there's virtually no maintenance. This maintenance is equating for, repairing some flashing as well as clearing some debris. But the systems themselves require no maintenance, repairs, anything that goes into it. So they have a virtually zero maintenance requirement when it comes to it. And then the insurance premium savings, we got to think about that. And so insurance premium savings comes from when you put a system on your house that performs, has a higher performance rating, your insurance company views it as less of a liability, less risk to have a claim on. So asphalt shingles especially, they are targeting as a high liability asset on your home, because once they start to wear, they get really prone to storm damage. And the insurance companies are actively trying to reduce their liability in that by non-renewals, upping their premiums, upping deductibles when you have these systems, because as they get older, they know there's a higher chance that you're going to have to make a claim on it because of storm damage. And so Class 3, there's going to be no discounts to those. Virtually no discounts that are going to come from having Class 3. Class 4, you will see a discount with that because it's a Class 4 impact rated. The problem with that on a shingle side is, as it ages, the insurance company is going to outweigh that discount savings for a Class 4 due to the age. They're going to raise your premiums on average 2 to 3 times once it gets to 10 to 15 years, plus non-renewals. So you got to think about that. And then we get over to the exposed fastener metal, usually not a discount on it. Sometimes there can be. We put it at 5% to equate for some. Where standing seam and synthetic tiles, specifically Brava, really stand out. These are going to get you on average 20 to 30, even sometimes 40% savings on your premiums, and they don't waver like asphalt shingles because they're not going to wear the same way and become more prone to storm damage. So we're going to see huge amount of savings over that 50 years comparative to the other systems. Then we get to the bottom here, and this is where it really breaks down all the numbers we just went over, so you can visually see what the true cost is of each system over 50 years. And so when we look at that, asphalt shingles, we are looking at anywhere from $100,000 to $120,000 in total cost over that 50 years. After savings, insurance savings, after maintenance, repairs, and replacements. Even exposed fastener metal, $99,000 to $120,000 in total cost. So that breaks down anywhere from $2,000 to $2,500 per year. Your investment is going to be for those roofing systems. We get to standing seam and Brava roof tile, and you see a huge difference here because we don't have to replace the roof. We have virtually no maintenance over that 50 years, and we're going to get quite a bit more insurance savings. So what we're looking at is $25,000 to $40,000 in true total cost over 50 years. This is where a lot of times when homeowners can see this and they're building a forever home, really just it just really makes the decision for them, and they're going to get such a better aesthetic appeal on their home that it kind of just sells itself at that point. So if this is something that you want to see specific to your home, reach out to us. I'm more than happy to do this, break this down, and actually show you what your options are and what your cost is. And we'll ask you the questions on how long you're going to be in the home, and can really point you in the right direction based on what your goals and your needs are for your home.